This is not a tutorial. Now we've gotten that out of the way, here's how to embarrass an entire navy on a $5 budget. The Evertsen is a warship in the Dutch Navy. She was recently sent to protect a French aircraft carrier currently deployed in the Eastern Mediterranean, probably something to do with the whole Iran thing. This is the same French aircraft carrier that recently suffered an embarrassing little security screw-up after one of its crewmen decided to go for a morning run on deck. He recorded it with his Garmin Forerunner, which automatically uploaded it to Strava, publicly leaking the exact GPS coordinates of the ship and the fact it was him who did it. And now the frigate sent to protect the aircraft carrier has had an OPSEC screw-up of its own. Journalists at a Dutch news outlet were inspired by a video posted to the official Ministry of Defence's YouTube channel. Posted last Christmas, it's a fun little video, a year in review of what the Dutch military has gotten up to. It reveals that they consumed 13.5 million cups of coffee, tea and hot chocolate. We see them sharing a Christmas meal, there's a few interviews, and they all come across as pretty relatable, especially to me because a little Premiere Pro error sneaked into the final export. We've all been there. Halfway through the video, there's a segment on the military's Christmas post, when the families of servicemen serving over the Christmas period send them presents. We see how packages are sorted, and Dutch Santa himself even makes a cameo appearance. But this fun little video also goes into detail on security measures. Every package is sent through an X-ray machine, but when it comes to letters, we see them being sorted, but it doesn't look like they go through any security checks at all. And none of this mail is authenticated, as in it's not limited to the family and friends of servicemen. Anyone can send mail by following basic instructions that you can find on the Dutch government website. That isn't unusual though. Here's what a shipping label looks like for the US military. Journalists at, and apologies in advance for the pronunciation, Omroep Gelderland figured that they could create a similar OPSEC screw-up to the French one by buying a cheap Bluetooth tracker, stuffing it in an envelope, and then mailing it to a fictional serviceman serving aboard the Evertsen. They don't tell us which tracker they used, but we do know it cost €5, so not an expensive GPS tracker, but rather one of those cheapo Bluetooth ones that just piggybacks off of Apple's Find My network or Google's Find Hub. And you can actually get these in credit card size, which would have been perfect for this. After dropping it in a mailbox, the map showed that the tracker was sent to a sorting centre before a stopover at a naval base in Den Helder. It then boarded a plane which landed in Crete before finally arriving at the port where the Evertsen was being stocked up before hitting the seas. On March 27th, the Evertsen began its mission to protect the French carrier, but with its main gun being broken, apparently. But in fairness, at least it managed to leave port. The same can't be said for everyone. Just as the Evertsen set sail, the captain deactivated the ship's AIS transponder. This is what makes possible sites like marine traffic, so that ships can be tracked worldwide. These transponders are mandatory for most ships, but for a military ship on a mission, it's more of an optional extra. As the ship set sail, the tracker kept on tracking, showing the vessel travelling west before heading east to Cyprus. These kinds of trackers, of course, don't have any GPS or cellular functionality, just Bluetooth. They'll autonomously ping the phones of nearby strangers, which records the location using its own GPS module. Then, using its own internet connection, it'll ping Apple or Google, who updates the map for the tracker's owner. And using Apple's Find My or Google's Find Hub are kind of perfect for this scenario. The data is end-to-end encrypted, so Apple or Google can't read location reports, and they don't even log which device reports the location. And of course, the phone's owner has no idea that they're acting as a relay. An Apple engineer did a Black Hat talk on this a few years back, which I'll of course link below. But the limiting factor here is range. We're talking 200 meters, and that's in ideal line-of-sight conditions. But being surrounded by steel bulkheads is definitely not ideal, so there's no chance that the phones of people sunbathing on nearby beaches could be pinged. Instead, it must have been pinging phones that were aboard the ship itself, and those phones must have had internet access. Interestingly, it's actually quite common for sailors to be provided with Wi-Fi for their personal phones, albeit it's not very fast, so they're usually limited to WhatsApp and email. When the Evertsen reached Cyprus, the cheapo Bluetooth tracker was finally discovered and it was disabled. But this was a totally preventable OPSEC screw-up made possible by a very niche video that didn't even get 4,000 views. And aside from that, it's not difficult to opt out of Apple's Find My network or Google's Find Hub, something which other militaries do, it seems, advise. Despite the fact that this has been a source of some embarrassment, shall we say, it doesn't look like anyone at the Dutch broadcaster is getting in trouble here, but the same can't be said for the Dutch government. They apparently initially claimed that this wasn't such a big deal because the ship had its AIS transponder turned on the entire time, so its location was public knowledge anyway. But this wasn't true. The transponder was turned off, with politicians now being accused of misleading the House. A review has of course been launched into the guidelines surrounding military mail, with the first change being that batteries are no longer allowed in letters, so no more musical birthday cards, and presumably all those letters are now going to have to be X-rayed. Dutch Santa won't be too happy with his extra workload this Christmas. And there's no news on whether the journalists behind this story are going to get one of those famous t-shirts. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.